Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for another series, coming in for another series with Thick Chicks with a Thought. I am here, your host, Sheila Buon Joseph, and I have the pleasure of interviewing a wonderful young lady and a wonderful friend, a wonderful confidant that back in the day, we used to do a lot of things when we used to work together in the human services. I'll have my guest introduce herself. Guest, please.
My name is Irina and I'm from Woburn, Massachusetts.
Okay. This is Irina. I like to call her Irina, but her real name, how do you pronounce it? Irina? Is that it?
Irina.
All right. Very good. So we are doing a series of women of color and how women are evolving in the world and how things have been maybe complicated for some and for others. And this is just a platform for you to express your experience, what you've gone through, and for some of our listeners to understand and also connect with us, the struggles that you may have gone through and some of the struggles they may have gone through, and then actually compile stuff. Don't like that, but I'll delete that in 3, 2, 1. So they'll be able to compile their own assessment of how they handle certain things. So, Miss Irina, may I ask, you already told me that you are from Woburn, Massachusetts. So where are you originally from?
Well, I was born and raised in Baku, Azerbaijan till I was.
I'm sorry, you really need to say that slowly for my listeners so they can understand.
I was born and raised in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Okay.
And I lived there till I was 7 years old.
Oh.
And at age 7, I moved to Armenia.
You moved to Armenia. And where's that located?
Armenia?
Yeah, just so some of our listeners may not know.
It's in between Russia and Georgia.
Russia and Georgia, and that's not Georgia, United States, right?
No, Azerbaijan, Russia, Georgia. It's in that region.
Oh, okay. Now, can I ask you, how long did you live in Armenia?
I lived in Armenia from I was 7 years old till I was 10 years old, and then we moved to United States after that.
Oh, you did? Okay. Now, so why did you and your parents come to this? Wait, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother.
Okay. Now, why did you all come to this country?
In 1989, the Soviet Union collapsed and a war erupted. Well, about 87, it started collapsing and there was a war between the former Soviet Union, and Armenia and Azerbaijan has always had conflicts. And when the war started, we were forced out of our homes due to our ethnicity and our religion. And we had to migrate to a different country. And since we're Armenian, we were forced to go to Armenia, even though we didn't have any rights to live in Armenia because we didn't have passports, we didn't have citizenships, but we had nowhere else to go. But because of the war, my dad is Armenian and so was my mom, but my dad was born in Armenia. So we left Baku and we went to Armenia, and so did the rest of my family.
So where was you? So your mom was born where?
My mother was born in Baku, Azerbaijan, but my father was born in Armenia.
Okay. And so you guys migrated to Armenia and then came back to this country, to America.
Yes, we entered
the war
as refugees due to not having the rights to live in Azerbaijan or the rights to live in Armenia. We were basically in the air with no papers.
Wow.
And at the time, United States, it was President Bush Sr. He opened the doors to all the refugees, and we applied to be able to enter this country.
Oh, okay.
2 years of waiting, our paperwork was approved, and that's when my parents and I and my brother were able to enter United States as refugees.
Oh, okay. So that must have been like quite an experience for you. I mean, being in a war zone, like at the age of what, 10, 7,
7.
between 7 and 10? Yeah. So tell me, what did you see over there?
Well, it kind of all happened overnight. We were normal family, going to school, having a normal life, and all of a sudden, war erupted. We had tanks outside. We had military presence. We weren't able to go to the grocery stores. We weren't able to go to school because I lived in a Muslim country at the time and I was Christian, so I wasn't allowed to really leave my house and be safe. You could leave your house, but it did not mean that you would be safe because
Oh,
of my religion background as well as me being Armenian.
okay. Now I know in conversations that we've had, and please loosen up, girl, loosen up. This is not no real interview. But I know that you said that in Armenia they would consider you dark skinned.
Not in Armenia, in Russia.
In Russia, I'm sorry. I'm
In
sorry.
Russia, when I would visit Russia, yes, people refer me as to gypsies or dark skinned because I didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, or I looked different. The majority of Russians did at the time. Now everybody's kind of evolved and everybody kind of looks the same,
Mhm.
or I guess mixed, but at the time, yes.
At the time. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how did that make you feel?
Well, being a little girl, I remember going to a store with my grandmother and my uncle happens to have blonde hair and blue eyes, and my grandmother is very light herself. And I was at the grocery store, not a grocery store, it was like a market that sold food and clothing. And I
Hmm.
remember looking at an outfit and I was like, I want that outfit, I want that outfit. And then my grandmother was like, okay, fine, we'll buy it. And this was in Moscow. And the lady told my grandmother to get the little gypsy girl out of the store because
Oh wow.
the little gypsy girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Hmm.
So being in this country, and how long have you been in this country?
We moved here in 1999.
1999 and still
Been
going
here for
on.
30 years.
My goodness.
I'm sorry, 1991.
1991. Okay.
1999 is when we started moving to Massachusetts and we got here in 2000.
Oh,
So
where
yeah,
did you originally go?
we moved to Salt Lake City, Utah as refugees. You did not have a choice to where you were going.
Oh,
So
okay.
when we went to the Russian embassy at the time, because we had to enter through Russia, but when we went to Russian embassy and we arrived there, they said to us, "Oh, you're going to be going to Phoenix, Arizona." So we didn't know what Phoenix, Arizona was, but we're just happy that we're going to be going to a country that we could enter new opportunities. And
Okay.
as we landed in New York City at the JFK airport, they told us, "Oh no, your paperwork says you're going to be going to Salt Lake City, Utah." We didn't know where we were going. Our faith just led us to wherever we had to be. So,
So
and
I'm sorry, but how was it living in Utah?
oh, well, Utah was a land of new opportunity for us. It was something that was foreign. I didn't speak a lick of English. I just knew hello. That was it.
Oh, not
I
a
just
lot
knew
of English. You
I would
not.
just the only thing that we knew about United States was everything that we had one magazine during the war. Somehow my father or my mother came across one magazine.
Uh-huh.
So in that magazine, all we saw was pictures of what United States looked like as,
Right.
kids in jeans and drinking Coca-Cola and just ads and Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein and Guess. Guess was really big back then. So
No.
we saw nothing but ads. And in my mind, that was United States of America. I was coming to a land with Guess, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and Coca-Cola. So when
Okay.
I entered Utah, it was a very huge culture shock. We didn't speak
Yes,
the
I bet. I bet a lot of Mormons there, as I can
language.
remember.
Yes, a lot of Mormons. They're very kind people, very welcoming. It was an easy transition.
Now,
I was
do you ever did you ever think that you could become Mormon, or did you even explore that religion?
no,
Okay.
I would never explore any other religion for the simple fact that as we were being pushed out of where we lived,
Mm-hmm.
we were being pushed out because we were Christian. And even though Mormon is still a Christian faith, I was never brought up in a very religious home because we weren't allowed to go to church under the communism.
Right.
But I had a lot of values, and we had a lot of certain things that were drilled into us. You know, you're Armenian, you're Gregorian Orthodox, and that's what you are. So if I was going to move to United States for land of freedom, I wasn't ready to change my religion just based on you have to become Mormon. If I choose to change my religion because I believe in something else, that's a different avenue.
Okay. Now, can you tell me what is your fondest memory being in Armenia, when you were in Armenia?
In Armenia, I loved walking to school. And I used to walk to school every single day, back and forth. Yeah. And as I would walk to school, I would walk through the middle of like this little downtown area that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And they always had water bubblers. And that water bubbler was the best tasting water I've ever had. I had some water every single day. The things that you're grateful for, but it was the best tasting water. And just that walk is
Mm-hmm.
something I could still remember the walk. If I had to go back
Right.
in my head, I know exactly the path that I would take.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's so special. Drinking water.
And another thing that it's the weirdest memory, but we as children only have certain memories. And at the cafeteria, they had the best pickles and bread. And that's what I would have for lunch, pickle and bread.
You want me to call DCF on your mama? Pickles and bread for lunch?
Pickle and bread. And every morning I would have bread, butter, and cheese, the feta cheese. And I have to say, nothing tastes as good.
You know what my fondest memory of you is I guess when we went to one of the stores out there, one of the foodery, and when we would order our lunch, whether it came with fries or not, you would come up with this concoction.
Fry sauce, honey. It's called fry sauce. Don't get it wrong.
No, I thought you were so weird. I said, look at this olive lady just mixes. Maybe she don't know. She don't know. She gonna get diarrhea.
You don't know, but guess what? 20 years later, guess what the grocery stores are selling?
Fry sauce. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh my goodness.
In Utah, you could go up to McDonald's. My first job was at McDonald's. And in Utah, when you went up to McDonald's and you said, may I have some ketchup? We would ask you, do you want fry sauce? Because we had ketchup and we also had fry sauce. When you ordered the fries. So you had a choice, and it did come prepackaged. I didn't have to mix it like I did here.
Okay. Okay, now can I ask you this? Do you have family in Armenia or Baku?
I don't have family in Baku because as Armenians, you're not allowed to live there.
Okay.
But I do have family in Armenia. I actually have family scattered all over the world because of the war. Everybody kind of just had to flee and find home somewhere else, and there was no jobs in Armenia at the time. So a lot of my family did move to Russia, and I still have a lot of family. Majority of my family is still in Armenia, yes.
Okay. Now, you were in Russia for a while, right?
I never lived there. We would visit.
We would visit. But your mom, she knows how to speak Russian.
So do I.
I wasn't asking about you, honey. No, but your mom, did she ever live in Russia?
No.
No, but she knows how to speak the language, as do you.
Right.
Okay. Now, my next question is, does your child speak any of your language? Well, first of all, let me clear up. Let me back up a little bit. What's the national language of Baku or Armenia?
Well, before the USSR collapsed, everybody had to speak Russian. That is the reason why majority of the countries under the former USSR, the main language was Russian. So that is why my mother spoke fluent Russian. When I lived in Baku, because Baku, they did speak Turkish, well, Azeri, which is similar Turkish.
Wait, say that again.
And Azeri is Azerbaijan, and the language is Azeri, and it's a form of Turkish. So when we lived in Azerbaijan, as a parent, you had a choice to either send your child to a school that was in Russian or in Azerbaijani. So my parents sent me to school that was in Russian because that was the dominant language.
Okay.
So I went to school and I mainly spoke Russian at home as well because my mom also went to school that was mainly in Russian. And so she was very comfortable. She knows Armenian. She can speak it fluently, but she was very comfortable speaking Russian. So when we were born, we automatically spoke Russian, even though we know how to speak Armenian. But
okay. Now, I don't want to get this wrong. So it is Azerian, the language.
well, it's Azerbaijan, which is Azeri is the language, but it's mainly driven from a Turkish language. So it's basically Turkish. It has like a little slight different dialect.
Okay, Azerian.
Well, Azerians are people from Azerbaijan.
Okay.
And a Bostonian from Boston.
Okay. Now, this is a little lingo language lesson here. How would you say hello, neighbor? In whatever language you want, either Russian or
in Russian.
Please speak slowly so my listeners can understand and hear.
Well, you don't really say hello, neighbor, so I'm just gonna say hello. So in Russian, you would say, depending if you're speaking to somebody who's older than you or you're speaking to a friend. So if you're speaking properly, you would say здравствуйте. That means hello.
Wait, hey, slow down. Stop. What?
Здравствуйте.
Wait. Wait, okay, let me see. Здравствуйте.
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 All right, we're gonna take it.
All right. I know when I see my babushka, I'm gonna say здравствуйте.
That's, well, you could just say привет. Привет is like, hey.
Why would I say hey to an older woman, my babushka?
So that's why you say здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте. That's right. And that's Russian. And what's the Armenian?
Barevdes.
Barevdes. So, okay. All right. I got that. I love it.
No, we're going to have an ESL language here for it.
That's right. So, are you married?
No, I'm divorced and now I'm engaged.
Okay. Oh, congratulations. I appreciate that. Shout out to my man, Sunshine. And you have one child.
I do.
Okay. And how old is your child?
She just turned 13. I just entered teenage years. Lucky
me. Lucky you. I'm going to pray for you, though.
Thank you. I need all the prayers I can get.
Does your daughter speak Russian or Armenian?
Well, growing up, she was fluent in Armenian and in Russian.
Okay.
And she was raised by my grandparents. They watched her 5 days a week, and then they moved down to 3 days a week, and she was able to speak in all the languages. After she went to preschool, she kind of stuck to English. We still use a lot of Russian at home, and she understands Russian, and she can say sentences or words, but she does not speak it fluently, but she understands it fluently. Armenian, on the other hand, she completely lost. She just knows words here and there, but she will not understand a conversation, to where in Russian, if you have a conversation, she'll understand it fluently, but she'll speak back to you in English.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So why? So she understands fluent Russian,
Correct.
and she's lost a little bit of her Armenian. She understands period.
She lost it mainly all, and it's my own fault. I didn't use the languages fully at home.
Okay.
And because her father does not speak Armenian or Russian, he of course never spoke to her in any other language but English, and
Mhm.
him and I communicate in English.
Mhm.
So the language was kind of lost. She only was able to use Russian at home with my mom and my grandma and my uncle. And I try to speak to her in Russian as much as I can.
Mhm.
I could do a better job. I'm not as good at it as I should be. I have been working on myself a lot more to speak to her in Russian, just
Mhm.
so she doesn't lose it. And I asked her to repeat back in Russian,
Mhm.
but teens.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, do you find that having a second language is a plus
Oh,
aside from the Spanish or the French speaking
I
another?
think the more languages you know, the better it is. There's no limits to how many languages you should know. If I could speak every language, I would. I think it's very important for children, not just for our developmental, abilities, but also just in general. It's a great trait to have. You never know when you're going to need
Hmm. Now, how you said that you're engaged.
it.
Mhm. Now, how long have you been engaged?
For I want to say 5 years
Okay. All right.
now, a long time.
Now, how long have you? Now, do you live with your significant other, or are you guys just living separately?
No, we live together. We've been living together since 2015.
Oh, okay.
We moved in together shortly after he moved up here. He was living in Florida, and then he moved up here in 2015. Well, he moved up here in 2013, but we moved in together in 2015.
Okay. Now, with him, do you- um, hey, does he have a good relationship with your daughter?
He does. He has worked very hard on building a good relationship with her, and they so far have a really good relationship together. I mean, there's always going to be a little stiffs, and
Mhm.
teenagers, I have the same issue, but overall, their relationship's really good. They're very respectful towards one another, and he puts in a lot of time and effort into her, and I respect that a lot because it takes a very special person to do that.
Wonderful. I appreciate him. I really do. Knowing him personally, I know what a young, wonderful young man he is. Now, does he have any children?
He does. He has a beautiful daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, so her name is Jasmine, if I'm able to say her name.
No, you can. You can say your daughter's name, girl. What's
Yeah, so she lives here, so
up?
yeah, he does. She's a wonderful, wonderful young lady. She's
Oh,
a teacher now. She just
and you
finished.
have a good relationship with her as well?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
We're very blessed to have beautiful girls, and they're very special and kind and unique, and they're just beautiful souls, and we're very lucky.
when are we going to have a boy? I mean, Dad, you got two girls. When we're going to have, first of all, let me shout out my sassy pants. Woo, woo, Ariella.
Yes, my Ariella.
Yeah. So when you
Yeah, well,
having a boy?
yes, I say yes, but I'm a magician. I can't make magic happen, but if it happens, it happens.
Okay. All right. Now, how do you think, I mean,
Mhm.
why do you think, I should say, your relationship works for you and Danny?
Well, it takes a lot to make a relationship work, no matter what relationship it is, whether it's friendship, mother daughter, or a relationship with your significant other. It works because we allow each other be who we are separately, and then we come together and we try to bring different aspects of our relationships together. He has pushed me and encouraged me to do different things and look at life a little differently, and I am. So I've always been somebody who haven't really explored, I guess, the sporting outside of my own self. I was never very physically active when it came to sports or outing. I never played on a team. I danced a lot and I went on walks and stuff like that, but I was never somebody who's going to pick up a sport. But he has pushed me into doing things outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
It all started with a bike ride. It all started with a
bike ride. Okay. Now, since you gave us such a lovely depiction of your man, Mr. Danny.
Yes.
Okay. Name me at least one pet peeve that gets under your skin, like, dang, if I don't strangle him, if he does this?
It's a very easy one. It's a that I have with many other people, but it's the smacking when you eat.
Ooh, girl, I understand it.
Or putting all the food in your mouth at the same time.
Wait, you want to control how people eat now?
No. There's food etiquette, I believe, and
yeah, try to explain it.
People eating their food and smacking their mouth, and that has historically been my pet peeve, and this is why I pick and choose who I go out to dinners with.
Oh, wow.
No, it's terrible. I can't always go out to dinner with people who eat loud. Like, it just gets under my skin. Well, that should be all across the board, something that every parent should teach their kid. I mean, I can't.
You can't do it?
That is my pet peeve.
That is your pet peeve. Okay. How do you?
Does it as bad, but because I'm so sensitive to that noise, that I think I notice it more than other people would. But yeah.
All right. Can you let me know how? Does your relationship ever get dull? If it does, how do you spice up your relationship? Let our listeners know.
They want to know what I do?
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. This is audio. So
well, of course, every relationship goes through its ups and downs. Overall, we've had a really positive way of engaging in our relationship. How do we spice things up? I'm thinking. I don't know if we necessarily have had a dull moment, really.
Oh, okay.
Usually
when them chicks that everything's always good.
Not really, no, but a dull moment, I mean, everybody kind of has their ups and downs, and what we try to do is I try to stay as engaged as I can, and when I feel myself kind of dulling out, I guess, I try to spice things up by I have to feel good within myself. And when I notice when I'm not feeling at my best, I can't give my best to my significant other. So whether it takes from me to do an extra workout or get my hair done or get up in the morning and, listen to a meditation course or to do my makeup or whatnot, I try to do it within myself, because if I'm not internally happy and healthy, then I can no way possible become that happy, positive person for my significant other. So I work a lot on my own self.
Yes, self is important, and I understand that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you see the visual I see, my homegirl looks so sexy. Does if you? Oh, girl, she looks sexy. If I was,
we try, honey, we try.
And that's
the ombre effect. But it's all right.
That's right. And that's what people need to know. They need to know that, sometimes relationships are always good. And you do need to spice up your life once in a while. Whether it is self-care first, internally you have to feel good. You're absolutely right. In order for you to give your best, because if you feeling frumpy and grumpy, And if I was a man, I wouldn't touch it.
And my other thing is,
Okay.
I have a lot about scents. I relate a lot of things to scents. So when I want something new, I get a new new perfume. And I love perfumes. I own a lot of them. And
he is not lying, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not lying. So when I want to feel a certain way, different perfumes give me a different, almost like a second personality, I should say.
Yeah,
Almost
all right, like, Natasha. My name is Natasha.
Whatever it is for that day. So I sometimes will have to put on a certain scent that I'm like, oh, this scent makes me feel happy, or this scent makes me feel, sexy. And so I will put on different scents if I have to. I also like to get dressed up and go out, and we try to have date nights. And usually when we do go out for date nights, I make sure that, I look great, I feel great, and I smell great. And then that way,
for a great night, after dinner.
I always make sure that our bed is our sanctuary. So the way I see it is, my room, my bed is my sanctuary. So I make sure I have the great sheets. I make sure that I always have candles in there that we both.
All right, sexy.
Yeah, so at nights we make sure that, we turn on our candles, we have the quiet time. And if I have to turn on music and put on perfume, then it is what it is.
All right. I like this. So now, what one thing that even in an argument with Mr. Sunshine, you do this, he just melts like butter. Like, oh Lord, please take me. I'm so sorry. What's that one thing?
Well, Mr. Sunshine is a very kind and loving, and he's very affectionate. So when we argue, I tend to be the, don't talk to me, don't touch me, I'm not having it. I'm the cold one.
Yes.
So if we're arguing and I know that I'm wrong, if I just say, I'm sorry, or at times I don't say I'm sorry, and I just go up to him and I'll give him a hug. And that's how I know the argument can at least settle down. Usually he's not an argumentative type.
Right.
He will definitely speak his mind, and he's very outspoken, and he'll tell me how he feels and what he thinks, but he's never the first one to yell, scream, shout. He's the type like, let's talk about this. And when things get out of control, it's usually this one over here who kind of stirs things up. And I know that about myself, so I've also been working on myself on that. But I try to be more affectionate, because I know affection for him goes a very long way. And he's mentioned it to me numerous times when we're arguing. At times, it's okay for you to hold my hand to calm me down. And I've done that, a lot more than I have in the past. I've taken that into consideration.
Yeah, and I spoke to Eli about this. I said, listen, I like hugs. I'm a huggy. Okay. And I don't care if we have an argument or whatever. If you give me that hug, I just feel like, even though the argument's not over, I just want to hug.
It's like soothing. It's soothing sensation.
And
I think that's what it is. It's like a baby. You gotta hug them and cuddle them. Not that you're a baby, but maybe you are. Who knows? But yes.
You know what? You know me for a long time, girl. Don't get jumped.
Don't worry.
Okay, what is your what are you afraid? I should say, are you afraid of your child, going back to Ariella? Are you afraid of her growing up in this new America that we have?
I am. I'm very terrified of not just her future, but many other children's future. We have moved forward, and yet we're moved back on so many different levels. Children nowadays are exposed to a lot, according with social media and the news and the influences from outside of the home. I'm very terrified, but my job is to make sure that I educate my kid at home. I believe in you talk. They may ignore you, but they are hearing you. They might not be listening, but at some point they are hearing you. So I am very vocal on my beliefs. I am very open with my daughter in regards to our political views and our emotional views and our religious views and what I believe is the right thing. And I don't push so much on my beliefs as I let her explore her own mind. I ask her questions. I give her the facts and I ask her questions and I say, what would you do in this situation?
Okay.
And when she answers, I follow up with, well, why? Well, have you thought of this or have you thought of that? And as the elections were happening and as there were so many people protesting and there was so much going on, I was very open with her and I said to her, what do you think? And she's a very bright girl.
That's wonderful. I know her, you know.
Very
I
proud.
go way back when she called me a purple cow. Thank you. Thank you. Ariella. Ariella. Ooh, ooh.
Wow.
She did.
Oh Lord, I told her, she said, why would I do that, mother? I said, I don't know, that's a conversation you need to have with Miss Sheila Bourne Joseph, because that wasn't me. She goes, well, she colored her hair purple.
Yeah, she didn't give me no complex. No complex at all. At all, right?
She was 2.5, 3. She was associating your colors with animals. That's what they were taught to do at school. What color is the cow? Brown. What color was Barney? Purple. That's what they were doing.
You know, I'm not holding any grudges at all, you know. I'm
Why
not.
don't you interview her?
I should.
Put her on your podcast, then we'll see how it goes. Put her on the spot.
Can I ask, how about, do you feel that that you've lost some of your cultural essence moving to America?
Well, yes and no. I have lost a lot of my cultural essence in the sense that I may not follow every single holiday or I don't do things as we're supposed to in our culture. But at the same time, I have kept a lot of it alive within myself by.
How about your daughter?
Huh?
How about your daughter? Have you kept it alive?
I do, maybe I could do a better job. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I do talk to her a lot about the war, about the genocide, about, you know, our religion and about how the reason why we have certain customs. And she knows them in theory.
Yeah.
Does she practice them? I mean, she's 13, not really, but she knows, like when we sit down and we have dinners with families, one of our traditions is we love to say toasts. And my daughter knows that every toast is probably going to take about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they're into a conversation and they're still talking. And then as a little girl,
Yes.
she would always, when we'd say a toast, we'd raise our glass and then we would take the glass and we would kind of point it on a child's nose and you'd kind of put the glass on your nose, like at the tip of the nose. And it's like a cheer because they don't have anything to cheer with. They would cheer on their nose. So even right now, when we say toast, and if you bring a glass close to her, she'll bring her nose closer to you.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's little things that we still do and we still have, but could there be more? Of course. And I actually was hoping to take her back home to Armenia this past summer, but with COVID and everything else, it just wasn't the best time and it wasn't safe. But I want her to go and explore the country and explore the history. No matter how many shows I show her or how much I talk to her about it, I think it's all about personal experiences and physically being there.
Okay. Now, do you plan on, well, you did say that you plan on taking her there and having her explore the whole Armenia. Do you plan on taking her Russia too, or?
Well, if I were to go to Armenia, I don't know if I would do the Russia the same trip, just because they're two different countries and it's a lot to do unless I'm there for like a month. But I will eventually take her to Russia because Russia is a beautiful, beautiful country and there's a lot of history there as well.
I've never been, but I will be on that trip when you go.
Let's go.
Now, how would you leave a legacy for your children? Or have you even thought of about how
Well,
you want to leave?
I want my daughter to remember me as somebody who has overcome a lot of obstacles in her life,
Mm-hmm.
who has lived in, 3 different countries, and none of that has gotten me down. And I want her to know that there's no such thing as I can't. I cannot does not exist in my home, in my vocabulary. I believe is in I will and I shall. And I always say, there's a will, there's a way.
Mm-hmm.
So if she remembers anything about me, is that I am very outspoken. I stand strong to my beliefs, and I will do everything and anything I can in order to create a harmonious and peaceful life for her, but at the same time, not an easy life. When it's too easy, you don't learn anything on your own. I want to give her the tools that she could use to better her life, but
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily make it easy. I want to pave the road, and I want her to continue with that journey. So if there's anything that she's going to remember me as, somebody who is kind-hearted, never stays away from her own beliefs, but
Mm-hmm.
yet with grace, love, and always thinks of others besides herself, because I believe that this country and just humanity on its own, we've been so driven by just us, me, instead of what could I do for somebody else? And that's important to have that. So you could not just benefit yourself, but it benefits many around you.
Mm. Now, winding down, um, how would you, if you could write a letter to yourself
Mhm.
in the next 5 years to open, what would you say?
Be kind to yourself. Be very kind. Be very forgiving. A lot of times we beat ourselves up for things that we've done that we may not agree with, years later on, or that we have said or we thought about and we kind of regret it. I believe that everything we've ever done or said is an experience that got us to where we are. Be
Mhm.
kind to yourself, love yourself more, speak kindly to yourself, because I've also been, guilty of that.
Mhm.
Um, and don't ever wait for an opportunity to come to you. Always make the opportunity for yourself. I would say travel the world, see as many places as you can, continue on the journey that you choose, and don't ever let anything or anyone pull you away from it. If you think you can't do it, tell yourself you can, and give yourself 5 reasons to why you can do it. For every reason that you can't, give yourself 5 reasons to why you can, and you'll see how different life does turn out.
Mm. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, Now with that being said, that's wonderful that you have said all of that. Now, do you support local businesses?
I do. I am a huge, huge advocate for local businesses. We
Mhm.
have this conversation all the time with Danny and I, because he loves chains. He likes Applebee's. He likes, the chains of the restaurants, because he says, they're great. And I'm a complete opposite. I'll say, I want to go and support the little mom and pop store. Well, the food may not be as great. That's okay. That's okay.
Mhm.
That it may not be as good, but then you find for a different place. And maybe if you let them know what they should change, and they will change it or whatnot. I try to support local businesses as much as I can, not just local, but also people that I know. And I try to support businesses of people with color, just because so many businesses out there already have something going for themselves,
Mhm.
such as the funding or the advertisement. And a lot of the times it's that little bodega down the street that nobody knows about. And
Mhm.
if you don't shop there, how are they going to survive? Because they're supporting people like you and I. It's the mothers and the fathers and the children like you and I. And
Mhm.
I'm very, very good at, I try to even shop at local farms, and I try to do as much as I can.
Now, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Hopefully doing something that is going to be beneficial for myself. I've done a lot for just my family. I always put my family first. Of what am I going to do? Like, I need to stay in this job because I need health insurance. I need to do this. I need to. I've always kind of did things for my family, which is a great way to be because that's how I was raised. But I want to explore avenues that I truly enjoy. And I've always wanted to have the freedom in my schedule and freedom with my life. I've always loved the health industry, loved the beauty industry, but one thing I've always also liked is the industry of sales, what's out there for in our market. And I love decorating homes and
Really?
I
I
love
wouldn't know
driving,
that. I wouldn't know that.
yeah, I love driving by home and seeing the house and saying, well, if this color was like this and the door was like that, well, this house must be appraised at this. And I truly do enjoy real estate. So I started taking courses and I'm hoping to finish the class and pass my test. And it's a leap that I'm willing to take. It is a very risky leap for me because I've been in this industry for 18 years, working with human services, and this is something completely different. But
Yes.
I've always had interest in it, and I've always enjoyed that avenue. And
Okay.
even though it's a risk, but I'm willing to take it because I need to do something for myself.
Now, would you say that as a woman of color,
Mhm.
you have evolved immensely, or are you continuously evolving?
I am continuously evolving. And one way that I'm evolving is within myself, learning things about myself. And even though I'm 40 years old now, I'm still learning. I'm just starting to learn certain things about myself. And
Okay.
I'm starting to put what I want and need in the perspective of what am I going to do next and how am I going to grow. And I don't think there's an age that you could ever stop learning or stop growing. I think it's important to continue to do so. I mean, I just finally learned how to go down the slope on the ski lift for the first time. I went down more than once without falling. So I will continue to learn, and if I
Very
have to
good.
take up new sports and new activities, I will, because I don't ever want to say I should have or I could have, because I said to myself, I lived in Utah, the best snow possibly in the world. How did I
Right.
not ski? What was wrong with me? It's because I was too afraid to step out of my zone. Now, at age 40, I got on the slopes and I skied down because I said to myself, I want to do something that my daughter enjoys. I was great at putting her on skis and getting her to enjoy the sport, but
Mhm.
I didn't do it because I was too afraid of failure. I said to myself, even if I fall and continue to fall down that slope, I'm going to do it. And I almost fell off the mountain, the first time, and the rope kind of held me in and the lady had to come and help me. But that I when I went down, I said to Danny, I need a break. I'm not doing this anymore. I need a break. And he said, you only went down once. Let's do it again. And that's why we work so well together. When I'm
Right.
down, he's like, you can do this. You just gotta go one more time. I said, my knees hurt. I don't know if I can do this. My whole body aches. I don't know if I can do it. He's like, one more run, one more run. Let's just do one more run. It's just the nerves. You just gotta calm down. And I went on a second run. By the time I came down, I didn't say no more, but I felt no more. But then I went on a third one and a fourth one. And before you know it, I had, I think, 7 or 8 runs. Then I finally took a break and then I went on more runs. And I've never done that ever.
Oh, very good. Well, congratulations.
So
Congratulations.
the whole point of it is not to give up, to continue to push yourself, even when you don't think you can. And so, yes, I am evolving and I will continue to evolve.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Miss Irina. Irina, I appreciate you so much, more so as a friend and as my lover. Oh, I'm sorry. No, no, sorry. Just
Honey, I spice things up with some nice perfume.
But
Yes.
oh yes, I appreciate you for coming on and letting my listeners know who you are as a person and participating in this series of Women of Color. Some people may have the frame of mind that woman of color is just only brown and black, and it's not. It's actually all types of the color wheel, whether you're white, brown, olive, or yellow, whoever.
I
Um,
agree, because white
it-
is a color,
yes, white is a color. That's right.
and so is whatever color I am.
You, Olive, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Yes. No, it's so great that you're doing this, and I don't know how many podcasts are out there in regards to woman ran by women, heard by women, but I'm glad that this is a journey that you're taking on, and I've known you for a long time, and I am so proud of you for everything you've put in. You've
it.
been,
Look, my little babushka.
you're the most positive, one of the most positive kindest humans I've ever come across. And you, no matter how many obstacles come your way, you always come up on top smiling and laughing and bringing me up when I've had some of the worst times ever. So
I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I know the struggles. I know the struggles every morning before we go to work.
yes, and
Every
those are the
evening.
pep talks I need.
Yes, and every evening after work. Can you believe that? And I can't believe it was wonderful.
No. And it's like you were my free therapy session.
I should have worked for myself and got your number.
Don't have myself, but you could have still billed my insurance.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to another series of Women of Color. This is Irina Galajian and your host, Sheila Buanjola, our Stamians. 3, 2, 1. Hi. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this series of Women of Color. We have Miss Irina Arstamian, who was our lovely co-host today, and your host here, Sheila Buan Joseph, making the world a better place and making the world and women of any type of color understand that we are one and the same. The struggles that we go through is not because of our color, it's because of who we are. Amen. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and efforts. I will see you on the flip side.